address, and I'll let him explain what that stands for. But he's here really to talk about Pinyon Canyon. Should you have any questions about Pinyon Canyon, he could address those. I'm the 2nd Brigade Combat Team Public Affairs Officer, and I'll be able to address any questions you may have. Or we also have the Brigade Commander, Colonel Jones, here as well, can address any questions you have about the training we're doing here at Pinyon Canyon. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Benford.
Thank you. Again, my name is Dan Benford. I work in the Directorate of Plans, Training, Mobilization, and Security. I'm currently the Chief of the Training Division. One of my responsibilities is the Pinyon Canyon Maneuver Site to make sure that the Colonel and his good soldiers get the training that they need while performing good stewardship of the training site and all of the resources down here to make sure everything is in place to meet all of our obligations to the state, to the Army, to the taxpayers. What I'd like to do is first thank you all for coming. It's great to have you all out here to spend a little time with us on this beautiful day. I wanted to go over some of our progress in the garrison. Again, what my primary mission is to take care of the Pinyon Canyon Maneuver Site, and I think it's important that you know what we're doing down here at the site to make the site better, not only for Army training, but for the citizens of Southern Colorado as well. The last time we trained here with a brigade-size exercise, we had a little bit of issue with some of the cultural resources down here at the site. Didn't really damage any of the cultural resources, but drove dangerously close to them into some of the areas that they were in. Since that time, we've done great things to protect our cultural and historic resources on the property. Working with the State Historic Preservation Office and the Advisory Council for Historic Properties, the SHPO and the ACHP in government terms, we now have marked 170 different sites that are eligible for the National Register in our training areas. They're either marked by permanent fencing or what we call cyber stake markings. They're T-posts with a certain reflective sequence of colors, orange, white, orange, white. What that's known as is areas to avoid with vehicle maneuvers. To date, during this exercise, not a single cultural site has received any damage on this installation. Water for Wildlife is an effort that we're working on. When we took over the property, we had numerous amounts of water wells or watering points that were used for cattle primarily, but wildlife drank out of those things. Since that time, some of those wells have fallen into non-operation, and we've entered an agreement with the Southern Colorado Environmental Council to get as many of those wells back up to take care of our wildlife population on the property. To date, we have 21 operational wells, and we're continuing to work towards getting as many as 41, 42 up for the wildlife to get some water. I want to talk about upcoming training. This year was supposed to provide maneuver training for 3 brigade combat teams from Fort Carson at this site. Because of the impacts to the budget, because what is known as the sequester right now going on in our nation, this will probably be the only brigade-size exercise at the site this year. However, we do have a battalion from the 4th Engineers, a battalion from the Special Forces, and the 157th Colorado National Guard that wants to train here at the site. Right now we're working out coordination details to make that a reality so we can get more folks down here to train. Last thing I want to talk about was brought up at the last Southern Colorado Working Group. Colonel Grosso, my boss, the garrison commander of Fort Carson, has directed me to lead a team to analyze the effort of allowing experimental grazing on this site. Our plan would be to analyze a 3-year grazing plan so we could better detail what the impacts would be of grazing and training on our short grass prairie lands and our maneuver sites. We are steaming full speed ahead so we can do a general analysis to forward it to Army Environmental Center, Installation Command G4, for their determination of whether we're going to proceed. Hope that makes sense to you. Lastly, I'd like to field some questions if you guys have any questions on any aspect of Pinyon Canyon that I'm able to answer.